Welcome back to Gaming Compute Podcast, guys. We're back on here talking to you for this tidbits short episode. I'm recording these, as I've mentioned before, for some short pieces of info, some little tips here and there. I am not a financial advisor. This is what I do for fun. It's a hobby. I talk a lot about personal experience. I'll have topics that are finance related in there. This is by no means any advice on what to do or telling you how to structure your own financial goals. I'm just talking about my own life in an educational way. If people want to learn from my tips and from my mistakes, that's up to you. But thanks for tuning in. Whatever you're here for, thank you for tuning in. So today's tidbits episode, I want to talk about credit scores. So, a lot of us have personal credit. There are other types of credit, such as business credit. A lot of people, some people have a view about credit that is, it's a very personal thing. So I would say it's almost like sharing your pay stubs with somebody, or sharing your medical records with somebody or something. It's kind of on those kind of level. Like, people a lot of times might not want to talk about their credit score, especially if it's not a really high one. Because it implies a lot of things. It basically means that, if your score's low, usually it's because of owing money that hasn't been paid back in a timely manner. And for whatever reason that may be, that it's not being paid back, even if it's a completely legitimate good reason based on emergency situations, you're still going to get a score for it. They don't care why. They're still gonna apply it to your credit score. So, if you're considering business credit or personal credit building, things like that, there's some cards out there like Chime and like Extra, where it's not a credit card per se, but the Chime one is considered a credit in a way, I guess, because it's linked to your debit account. So for the Chime card, you have to get a certain amount of direct deposit to qualify, and I think it's like $200. It's a low amount to qualify for the Chime credit card. For the Extra card, you pay about $8 something a month or so, $8 or so dollars a month. Maybe $9 tops, for the low plan. For the monthly plan, you pay about $8 a month, and it's a debit account, and it's linked to one of your other bank accounts, and it's not even all available. So if I have an Extra account, or an account with Extra, basically, like, say if I have $1,000 in there, I might have 300 or 500 or 700 available or something. It's a percentage of what's in your bank account that is linked to, which is interesting and weird. And then every weekday after you spend, the next weekday, business day, they go and they withdraw from your bank account whatever you spent the day before. So if I go and spend $20 on gas on my Extra card today, then since it's Friday, then Monday they're going to withdraw the $20 from my bank account and then I'll have $20 less available on my extra card, and then my spending allowance on there does change based on my spending and based on what's in my actual bank account that it's linked to. So if I'm depositing money into that account, my spending allowance on the extra card is going to increase too. So, and I haven't figured out how that works or why or how they do it that way. A lot of people want to talk about how to repair their credit. Those are some methods that people are using. I'll talk more about my experiences. But I mean, I was mentioning it on here that I've had an extra card since near Cinco de Mayo of 2021. It's now almost, in a couple days, it's October 29th now. So Sunday, it's going to be Halloween of 2021. So that's about 7-month period of time, and my score has raised not even 10 points. I think it raised maybe 4 points at first and maybe 3 points the next time around, and it's been at the same exact credit score this whole time. So I'm going to cancel that card because they're charging me like $8 a month, and if I'm not making if it's not increasing my credit score more and more and more, then I don't want to pay to use it, because it's like I might as well just use my debit card that's free. So but it's an option. I mean, 7 or so points is 7 or so points. I've mentioned in other episodes strategies about using this type of card, or potential strategies like paying off things in your credit history that you might owe using that type of a card. It's kind of like a double whammy thing. You're trying to build your credit by using the debit card that builds your credit by paying off what you owe for certain things. So other ways to build your credit is by rental history. So if you have a rental history, that can work to your advantage. So I don't have them off the top of my head, but there are a lot of YouTubers out there that talk about, or at least have segments talking about rental history. And you can improve your credit score by, adding rental history, especially if you have a good rental history and you've paid on time or made your payments for years in a row. That shows that you pay that bill every time, right? And it's due all the time. Business credit as well. You can get business credit as well. You can get business credit accounts through banks. Usually you need a good personal credit score to get these. You can get another type of business credit through these other types of programs that are basically like store credit for their shops. So there are a lot of these online type of jewelry and, household appliances and clothing, through Macy's or something like that. There are a lot of these programs where it's you can get store credit, right? And it builds. Well, Macy's wouldn't count. Macy's isn't the same thing. Sorry, I put that in that category. I apologize. That's not the right thing. I'm thinking of something else. But you can get basically a type of business credit building towards that store. So there's say it's a jewelry website that offers business credit, right? Or just anything that you're looking into for business credit. You really want to check and make sure, as well as any type of credit card you're trying to open an account with, you want to make sure it reports to all the credit bureaus. You want to make sure it's reporting to the appropriate people that are going to build your credit. Because you can get business credit, personal credit. You can pay those secured cards But if it's not reporting your spending and you're trying to use a 6-month plan to use that card to kind of get your credit score up and up and up, you're not going to be able to do that if it's you're not going to be able to do it if it's not reporting to the right credit bureaus, or all of them, right? Just like with the rental history, you want to make sure it's being reported to all the credit bureaus. And with those business credit accounts, you want to make sure it's being reported to all the credit bureaus. And you don't want to... Sometimes when you look at what they're offering, I mean, it sounds cool because you're like, yeah, I can have business credit and then build my business credit and then get a business credit card later on and be able to kind of like get access to a lot of funds, a lot of capital that you can use for your side hustle, which is a cool strategy. But you want to make sure that what you're getting into is going to actually report where you need it to report, so that you're actually building. And in addition to that, you want to make sure it's not like, for example, I'll just use a basic example that people have probably seen. You can get these certain types of accounts with these, like a jewelry type of website where you're supposed to buy jewelry and you pay that off, right? But say, and it builds credit because you've paid that off. But say I don't need jewelry, say I don't wear jewelry, say I don't want jewelry, right? It's already going to be not worth my time to get that kind of thing. Say if it's for a gift, maybe I use it and build business credit for like a gift, but that's only like one purchase. So I don't really know how much that's going to really build your score unless you're buying stuff every single freaking month. And who buys, I don't know, maybe people buy jewelry every month. I don't really know because I don't buy jewelry, so I don't really know. But everybody has their interest, right? And I'm pretty sure that's an interest, or else people wouldn't be doing it. But they wouldn't have it. It wouldn't exist if people didn't like it. So, but thinking too about what they're selling, when you look at it on other sites, it's like, well, it's marked up too on these sites, and so it's costing you more money to buy the same item that you already didn't need for an extra like $28 more than it already was, just to potentially, hopefully, build your credit. And how much is it building your credit, your business credit, right? If it's only like 3 points, is it really going to be worth 3 points, spending $28 extra every freaking month on stuff that you didn't even need? I mean, like, if you're doing that over a 6-month period to build up in 6 months, I mean, that's a lot of freaking money, $28 or so, 3 times a month, not to count that you're going to be paying off what you bought. I mean, it's just, when you think about it that way, it's like, it's probably best to get it a different way. But you can sometimes get business credit. You can get it based on the amount of personal credit score. If you have a high credit score, personal credit score, you can get access to business credit too. And so one method to get more business credit is to build your personal credit, and then you'll have access to higher amounts of business credit. Like I mentioned, the rental history, making sure you know who things report to. You can get those secured cards. You can get cards like Extra, things like that. But like I'm mentioning, like, it's not a quick process. It's not like if I'm at a 590 credit score, I'm not going to get to like 700 in like a day. It's like, it's a process. And then looking at what's happening over the process, or calling the companies and like talking to them and seeing kind of what happens, and listening to like tutorials or reviews about those different types of cards and things. And I like talking about the Extra card because I feel like I got into it when I only really saw like less than 10 YouTube videos available on it when I searched it. And I still haven't really seen anybody with like high gains, and I've not experienced that myself as well. So, not experienced the high gains as well. So, yes, that does build your credit, but it's not like super fast either. So, yeah. But I hope this is helpful. A lot of it might be stuff that people already know, but I know that sometimes people just want to start somewhere too. And hopefully these are good reminders or good tips. Thanks for tuning in to Tidbits. Thanks for listening.